Welcome back to Writer's World Radio. This is episode 27, and I shall be your impartial host, Matthew Graykin. So I've talked to you in the past about different ways of writing things, how to develop creative ideas, where to get creative ideas from, where to get your ideas, your stories, to build your stories, different ways of structuring stories. But I never talked to you yet, at least I don't think I have, about what to do with your final manuscript. Where do I go with my manuscript when it's all said and done? So that's why I want to talk to you today. I want to talk about your options. Most of you are going to say, or some of you are going to say, of course the answer is simple. I go to one of the big publishing houses, I walk in the front door, I slam it down on the desk of the chief and say, here's your next $1 million idea. This isn't Shark Tank. But that is an option. Not necessarily a good option. But the big publishing houses, that's an option. That is definitely a good option. But you have to treat it the right way. You have to make sure, just like when you were doing your story, you were doing your research for your story, you have to do your research on your publishing house. You want to look into several of them, because you're going to want to find the one that's going to suit you best. Not just do you want to find the one that's going to suit you best, you have to find your right contact person. Because if you send your fantasy story to their nonfiction contact, they're just going to throw it out. I mean, most of them are just so busy and so inundated with thousands and sometimes multi-thousands of submissions weekly or hundreds daily, that if that's not something that pertains to them, they don't have time to send it to the right person, because they may not even know who that right person is. Even if they did, that person's inundated with hundreds of thousands. So you want to make sure you find the right person to send it to. Find the right contact. Make sure that they are looking for that type of story, because if they have a whole bunch of backlog fantasy stories and you send them another one and they're not looking for it, chances are you'll never hear from them. So don't save your time by making sure that they're looking for it. Check what their submission guidelines are too. Some of them do not take direct mail. Some of them only want email. Some of them want a full manuscript done. Some of them just want a first chapter or a sample chapter. So make sure you look into that. Another thing with the big publishing houses is that not all of them want something directly from you. A lot of them also want from a literary agent. So alright, you have to research a literary agent. How difficult is that? Believe it or not, it's almost the same process. So you're just putting in the middleman. You have to research your literary agents, find out what type of stories they're looking to represent. Find out if you find a literary agent that represents an author that you like and you feel your works are similar, definitely focus in on that one. But also expand your options. Don't just do one, do multiple, and see who do they work with. What authors do they work with? What publishing houses do they work with? Those are key things. Those are definitely something you want to look into. Once you get a offer, don't worry about sending it to multiple. You want to send it to multiple. If you get multiple offers and you're stressed out about, well, how do I know this is the right one? And where are they? I don't know if I want to go with A or B. This is a good stress. This is something that you want to, this is a situation you want to find yourself in. Chances are you may only get one acceptance letter back. Still, you're doing good. So from there, they will submit it to multiple big publishing houses and you're on your way. Benefits, a lot of them offer marketing tools, professional editing, cover design, network distribution between online sources and retailers. So you got some, and decent money. So you got your benefits there. Downside is a lot of them will take your work and it becomes their property. So your IP becomes their IP. Some, not all, depends on your negotiation and your contract. Some of them work within timelines. The story 1 has to be done by this point. If you're doing another story, it has to be done by this point. So some things to keep in mind once you get into that world. Once you get yourself established, see what they're expecting of you. Make sure you watch out for that. So those are some different things. Option 2 is being an independent author and going out there and submitting it yourself. You create your cover, or you can hire someone to create your cover. You can hire a marketing team, you can hire an editor, or you can, if you feel confident doing it yourself, you could do your own cover design. I do that. You can do a lot of times. Sometimes I do have help with from people with the images, because I can't find the right image out there. They'll help out with the whole layout. And I give those people credit. So look in the covers. But yeah, if you feel that you have the right connections or you feel confident in doing it yourself, you could do being independent. You'll have to, again, research online. There's Lulu Press, there is Create Space, Book Baby. There's a bunch of different ones out there that will help you become an independent author. You got the different styles. You got the ones where I am stumbling. I am sorry, it's late, and I've been up since I was up late last night at Fright Fest. If you want to find out about that, look up the Great Adventure section in Third Haunting. I talk about the park there nearby here in New Jersey. But I digress. So you can do vanity press. You can do print on demand. That's what I was looking for. Create Space is a print on demand. A lot of them you could which print on demand will allow you to have, when your book is ordered by someone, that's when they print it and they send it out to them. So you don't have a bunch of copies lying around if you don't want to. Or if you want to, you can. It's not a bad idea to keep a few spare copies in your study somewhere in the back of your car, so if someone expresses immediate interest, you could jump right on and get that sale. Or you could go to one of the publishers, the independent press publishers, you buy a bulk. You have to buy 100, 200, or 50 copies of your work. So you put all the money up front and then recoup it back. So some of the benefits there, you'll get a nice big cut of the sales. Some of it's 40, 50, 60%, all goes to you. The market, you just pay for the raw product, whatever you sell it at. Say your book, the raw product is $3, you sell it at $13, $10 each book. That's not bad. That's a pretty good profit margin. But just think, you are the marketer. You own your IP. Your IP now is solely yours. But you have to do the marketing, you have to do creative end, you have to do the editing. You can hire people for that, but then that increases your overhead. So you have to think in those aspects. Which way, how do you feel about controlling your overhead to be able to get a good profit margin? How many do you reasonably think you'll be able to sell? So it's not a bad thing. Again, that's what I do. I know a number of other authors who do that too. So it's an easier up front because you're not having to deal with the big publishers who, you may wind up in the same place, because I know independent authors who are in in stores who do sell. If you look at some of the New York Times bestseller list, there is a number of independent authors on that list. There's quite a lot of them. You may not realize it. If you research the author, you may find out that one of your favorite authors is an independent author. So don't put them down. But I said, if I didn't mention it, there is a third option. And what is this? I already know if there's A or B. These are the two directions I could go in. There's a third option. It's less lucrative. In fact, there's almost no lucrativity to it. Is blogging. Well, I'm not gonna write a whole complaint about something. Well, that's one way about it. You can blog stories. Many different ways around it. There's websites that specifically deal with fan fiction. If you feel like you want to write fan fiction for Star Trek, Star Wars, Power Rangers, 50 Shades of Grey, Vampire Diaries, Game of Thrones, there's websites out there that will host those stories. You just write it, you put it out there, you'll get people reading that. Or you could create like a WordPress account, a Blogspot account, and put your stories up there. You're not going to make any money off of that. Be honest. You know you're not going to make any money off of that. But you are doing something very important. You're building followers. You're building readers. People who are become interested in your work. Because they know they don't have to invest anything into it. You know, they may turn more of a... be more interested. Have a little more... interest, go into it. Okay, I'll give it a shot. I have nothing to lose. I'm not paying anything for this. And they'll read their stories, and if they like what they read, they'll come back, and they keep coming back. You put up several stories, then what do? You go back to option A or B, and you already have the following. So now you can easily transition into someone has published works into a book form that you ask money for. They like your stuff enough free, they may be more willing, especially if they become really avid into it. The more the more that you can get them to be avidly into it, the more likely they're able to put money into it, into one of your stories, and buy a book, buy an ebook, buy a physical book, go to a bookstore and order a copy, go online and order a copy, tell their friends about it. So that's a good option too. It's a different route. So if that works for you, go at it. An example of that is 50 Shades of Grey. If you're not aware of it, 50 Shades of Grey was a fan fiction work for the Twilight series. Mr. Grey was Edward. And the female was Bella. That's how it worked it out. To switch it to 50 Shades of Grey, she did obviously change the names because legally she cannot use the Twilight characters in her creation for that story. So she just changed the names around, some of the scenarios, hence why it takes place in Seattle. And you got the 50 Shades of Grey series. It changes your perspective if you read it thinking that it's a sparkly vampire and a whiny, down-to-earth high school girl. So she was a whiny, down-to-earth high school girl in both iterations. I digress again. So both work. She submitted that onto fanfiction for Twilight. Millions and millions of people read it that way. Caught the eye of publishing world. Eventually became published and still sold millions and millions of copies. They were able to get it free before, and they still paid money for it. It's amazing how that works sometimes. Amazing. I hope you have those kind of problems. I hope that works out for you, and you can write something, submit it to a site, people read it for free, and then start paying money for it. And then you can put more money into your next book, and have a beautiful cover, put it on all those distribution networks, and make even more money. Because that's why we're doing this. Because of the money? No, not because of the money. Honestly. You know you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it for the love of writing. You're doing it for your fans. You're doing it for your readers. And you do it because you love writing. Never forget that. Once somebody comes start rolling in, don't forget you're doing it because of the love of writing. When it's not fun anymore, step away for a bit. As long as you're having fun, your readers are going to have fun. That's key. And speaking of key points, 10 minutes a day. As I tell you each week, 10 minutes a day. Start writing 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes you will be amazed by the end of the week how much you have written. You could do 10 minutes of research, you could do 10 minutes of writing. All of it adds up together. And you will make so much progress, even in just quick 10 minutes. Do 10 minutes before the kids wake up, do 10 minutes after the kids go to bed, right before you go to sleep. Do 10 minutes during your lunch break at work. Not 10 minutes while you're at work, but 10 minutes on your lunch break when you're not getting paid. And you will make progress. You know, when you say you don't have time, you do have time. You can find 10 minutes somewhere. Lock yourself in a closet, lock yourself in the bathroom, and start writing. And that will move you forward. If you need help with an idea, you don't know where to go with an idea, you don't know exactly what the idea is, or is it a good idea, just you need to be help with fleshing it out, ask some of your friends. You can email me. I'll give you the email address right now. writersworldradio@yahoo.com. And we can work together. I'll definitely help you out, or other writers will help you out. There's people out there, people will be willing to help you. You know, you say you have this idea and you don't know where to go with it, believe it or not, your friends will be willing to help you out. I said, if not, come to me. What are some of your ideas about publishing books? Do you know of a fourth option? Or do you have any suggestions about any of the three that I already spoke to you about? Put in the comments below on the YouTube video here. Or put it up on the social networks. Hit me up on the Twitter @MatthewJGraken. Use the hashtag WritersWorldRadio. That will also work for Facebook. Facebook's even better than Twitter, I feel, for connecting. In this case, for marketing, Twitter is fantastic. You hit thousands of people quickly. Look how well it's working for some of the political people. Facebook.com/MatthewJGraken. Let's keep this conversation going, as I say every week. And not only do I mean keep it going between us, keep it going, bring in more people. Share these videos, share the podcast, share the links from the Google Play Store, from iTunes. Send it out there to all your friends. Say, hey, check this out. You interested in writing? Check out this guy. The guy wearing this shirt. For the YouTube, share the YouTube videos. Leave comments below. Make sure you also subscribe, so that way you know when more videos are coming out. Every couple of weeks I do put out another video. So hit that little subscribe button there. And right next to the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. If you're listening to the audio cast, make sure you subscribe again. Hit the little subscribe tab and rate the podcast. Honestly, I would like to hear what you guys think. You have any suggestions? Creative criticism. Don't just tear me apart, please, because I wouldn't just do the same to you. But it's, creative criticism. Matthew, do this. Matthew, you should try that. Stop rambling. Okay. So let's, make sure you're sharing, because I'll help you out, you help me out. That's how our relationship works. I hope everyone's having a fantastic week. I hope everything's coming together for you guys and your stories. Remember, November's coming up. What does that mean? It's the November Writer Month. So come up, start thinking of your ideas now. So that way in November you can start just pounding them out. And, we'll all come up, put something out. Hey, I may release a new story in November. Keep your eyes out. And until then, stay safe. Stay focused, stay positive. All those things will help you out in the end. And I'll see you next time.